Welcome to the next episode of Flooring Africa here in the workshop studio. Today our guest is from Alco Exotic, and they have a couple of different flooring brands that they bring into South Africa and distribute nationwide. And one of them is a personal favorite of mine, which is SuperTrim. Trims are so important in elevating your flooring installation to the next level. The trims are overlooked in most job sites, but it's the details that really take the job to the next level. And we want to get into the varieties that are available from SuperTrim and why they are delivering on performance, aesthetics, and ease of use. Let's get into it. Let's go and say hi to John.
I think we were generally frustrated in the market that a lot of the new flooring ranges that were entering the market, there was no real consideration from a finishing point of view as to what will be used with these products once they're installed. So they developed out of our own frustration and the necessity to ensure that there's a great solution for every project that clients undertake.
So you wanted to fill the gap with a super option that really delivers.
Yeah.
And actually puts the competition to shame.
You know, a lot of trims in the market are trims that were used 40 years ago.
Yeah.
But the flooring ranges have progressed so much. So why stick in that time frame and really give the client something new and exciting to show off their new flooring range?
So we've got a couple of samples here where this is a structural aluminium angle, mill finish.
Yeah.
And this is so often used as a stair nosing. And it's horrible. And this is an alternative that John's going to talk to you about.
Yeah, so I think when we look at designing trims, we have a couple steps that we go through. And the first step is really looking at the aesthetic of it. The trim, although it's necessary, it shouldn't detract from what your flooring looks like. So just having a little chamfer on the edge rather than having a square edge,
Yeah.
that just adds detail that now it's pretty to look at rather than something that's, a little bit unsightly in our view.
It really is those little details that you don't necessarily notice straight off the bat.
Yeah.
But when you really get into it, those are the little details that take you from an average installer, fly by night to somebody who actually delivers quality and can charge accordingly.
And then it's also the functionality of that trim. So, a lot of trims, for example, this 202, that is designed specifically for SBC flooring, which is either 4 to 6 millimeters
and
thick.
so popular at the moment.
Correct. Taking over the market for a lot of reasons.
Yep.
But don't use, historically, there were only bigger trims available for end caps and areas where you had an exterior door threshold. And we saw guys actually looking to grind down trims in order to meet what the flooring required.
And these options are available. And I think installers they're quite creative, yeah. They're quite hands-on. But this is an area which can really, you need to have a little bit of caution. Yeah. And I think it's also about being aware of what's available in the market. I don't think everyone's actually been aware that there are these dedicated, absolutely gorgeous trims available.
Correct. I think it's part of our job to really educate the industry as to things that actually make life easier for you, as well as help you with other referral work from the quality you've delivered on
makes you look
sites.
A lot better. Can you talk us a little bit more about the quality elements that kind of just separate you from structural aluminium?
So within metal, you get obviously different thicknesses of the metal. A big part for us is to really consider the longevity that you're getting. Remember, these trims are going to be in your home for 15, 20 years. So going for the thickness of the aluminium, but obviously not too thick, because again, we just want to have small, neat and clean lines. We don't want big chunky aluminium. And then the other thing with quality is really what the finish is. And you get quite a few different finish options, from mill finish to powder coating, wrapped and anodized. And we love our anodized trims. I think also you'll find our champagne is a very popular color.
It's very universal. It's beautiful to look at. But it's also the thickness of the anodizing, because I've used some of the competitors as well, and they're quite easy to scratch.
I think, look, everything can scratch over time.
No, point taken.
But I think the big part is to say, okay, you know, what's the difference? What's the benefit of us investing a little bit more in a little bit thicker anodizing, so that the client just has an overall better experience?
Absolutely, and that is where you get those referrals. John, understanding that you have a depot in Cape Town, how are you getting your product to the rest of the country? Because obviously this is a highly desired system.
Yeah.
What is your solution?
So obviously we import and distribute nationally. We have logistic partners that we work with on a daily basis.
Yeah.
But a big part of it is, how are they going to arrive? Are they going to be damaged? Are they going to be broken? Are you
Bent, scratched, dented, all of the above?
So most of our trims that we send up country, they're boxed. A lot of our trims are individually wrapped. Those that aren't individually wrapped are wrapped as bundles of 5.
Yeah.
And all of these things are steps that we take to ensure that when you open your trims, they're new trims. They're not looking secondhand before they arrive on the job site.
So you're not having to cut off the damage or try and figure out how you're going to work with these scratch trims. And you know, if there is a 2 to 3 day timeline to get new stock, that could pose an installation problem. But you've also got another system that you wanted to talk about with regards to, if an installer is using a dedicated system, something that they're familiar with, that they're using on a daily basis almost, that it's actually quite prudent to hold a little bit of stock.
Yeah, I think it's these tend to not be the expensive items. Okay, they're the finishing detail. Does it really not make sense to keep 5 or 6 lengths in your garage, in your showroom, so that you can access it easily and be able to, you know, fix those kind of problems as
you get
you
it
go
across the line.
Yeah,
I think that's the difference with a competent quality installer, where they are planning the job site and they are they have a little bit of a safeguard volume always in the backup. It's not just about your 10% extra using for the flooring, but also for the trims, having that extra length available. You've just reminded me about something. How do these trims get installed? Because we know that installers love using a little bit of hot glue and silicone, and they're not actually installing these trims correctly. You have a couple of tricks up your sleeve on how your trims install.
Yeah, so for quite a few of our trims, we have a peel and stick glue system. So our reducer, for example, even our flat cover strip and our 201 end cap. So that glue strip is actually quite a strong glue.
Yeah.
Obviously, you want to ensure that the site is clean before you try to attach it. But then we also have, some of our trims have a track system underneath with a dial system. And then others don't have any of those, but obviously from a gluing perspective, more really with some of our stair noses that we use. I think the overriding principle is consider what the rules of your flooring type are. So don't break the rules of whatever the flooring guidelines are. Follow those guidelines, ensure you're compliant with those guidelines, so that you don't have, create yourself another problem.
I think this is pretty much what you're talking about, is when you glue down trims, don't compromise the floor's expansion and contraction. Predominantly, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mainly for floating floors. So
mainly for floating floors. And, you know, a lot of these trims are used for floating floors. So, guys, really, hot glue, silicone, come now. So, talking about the stair nosing, you've actually got some unique stair nosing that we don't find anywhere else, some that you've actually designed yourself.
Yeah, so at at the bottom here, the 299 and the 231, those are actually reversible trims. So if you reverse this trim or turn it over, you can adjust it, or it's usable for different thicknesses.
I think this comes down to the point also, if the installer is holding stock in his van or in his storeroom, he can hold a couple, like a very few different sizes that are multi-purpose for different types of floors. So you can hold 3 different trims, but actually they service 6 different thicknesses of flooring, which adds a total advantage to actually holding on to some stock and being able to play around with it.
So again, it's really up to, I think we've got a wide range of trims. It's for you to figure out what's actually going to work for you and your clients, and give you a great overall end product of your flooring and the accessories. Trims should no longer be the afterthought of your installation. You know, they should be at the forefront of what you're doing, because that detail work really gets you recognized.
Absolutely. Thank you for joining us, and thank you to John from Alco Exotic. If you want any of their contact details or links, it's all going to be in the description below. And yes, these are trims that are going to really deliver, not just for the initial wow, but many years to come. Subscribe, hit the bell, do all that good, lovely stuff, and we'll see you in the next video.